Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Picks and Sticks podcast, a fun music podcast where four great friends talk about the music, bands, and songs that they love. I'm Moro.
I'm Gordo.
I'm Cecil.
And I'm Huff.
And this is Picks and Sticks.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Picks and Sticks. You know, we're getting close to the summer months here, gentlemen. Moro and I were out golfing today. Unfortunately, you two bozos had to work, so we ended up taking a day.
Played hooky.
Little hooky. Moro, overall impressions of the condition of the golf course before I tell the story about you on 18.
Oh,
The conditions of the course were good,
right?
Considering, you know, what's the date? May 6th.
We're May 6th today. Yep.
Yeah, greens were decent. Fairways were good. You know, it was a little dry, so a lot of roll.
A lot of roll. You can
Cold
top it and still get 150 yards off the tee.
tight.
Yeah,
that's my move.
Punched that 5-iron on 17. It rolled 100 yards into the pond.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, pretty solid game. Moro, it was Moro's first game of the year. He comes out, birdies the first hole, pars the second. I think you might have even parred the third hole. I'm like, look at this joker. And played fairly good on the front nine, I would say. I thought you looked good. You had a couple, then it started to come back to earth a little bit.
It's a little windy out there, wasn't it?
But I did have that 4 doubles in 5 holes. Streak.
You did have the 4 doubles in 5 holes. It was somewhere along the line. The hook came back, just overcooking them a little bit, and then you straightened it back out. Then you got to 18. So 18 on this particular golf course, par 3. It was playing long into the wind. It was playing what was it, about 180, 185 into the wind.
Mm-hmm. It was playing 192.
Was it 192?
Into the wind, so more like about 210.
Yeah. So Moro's up there. He's got the hybrid. I don't know, just puts a god-awful swing on it and hits it maybe 4 feet off the ground and with a big banana left into kind of these trees. But he's got an opening, but then there's another tree. Like, he's in a tough spot. It's open. Then the tree that he's kind of underneath is one of those ones that, like, the branches hang down, right? So he's got to keep it low. But then protecting the front of the green, there's a bunker. So there's a bunker there. So he can't hit it high to get it over the bunker, right, to get it onto the green. So he gets a little creative. He hits an absolute stinger out of there, hits the side of the bank right in front of the green, bounces over the bunker right onto the green. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, that was one of the most incredible shots I've ever seen by an amateur golfer ever. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
On and two.
Yeah, on and two. Beautiful. Then he 4-putted.
I putted it about 30 feet past on the first one, and then down the hill about another 15 feet past.
It's nerve-wracking ending on a par 3, though.
Well,
it is.
Yeah, it is. I thought when he hit that shot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought when he hit that shot, I was like, oh my God, he might save par here. Like, he had a shot earlier on, chipped in out of the bunker, nice sand save. And I'm like, this guy, he was making crazy shots all day. He hits that one and then 4-putts it. So anyway, that's how our summer's been is going to start off.
And I shot 83.
Yeah. Still made 83.
With a triple on 18. It's not bad.
That's pretty solid. And with 4 doubles in 5 holes or whatever it was.
Did they make you use separate carts, or could you use the same one?
We used the same cart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you had the choice.
So I can't go eat with you anywhere, but I can drive around with you outside in a golf cart. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. It was so windy.
Okay, COVID, I get it.
I see
COVID
you.
respects the game.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, I've got my shot. So
at least we didn't have to listen to Joe's music the whole time.
We did not. There was a lot of Bananarama. There was Oh man, it's got to be the worst selection of music you've ever heard. He's an '80s guy, right? And so it is.
This is Joe.
Yeah, he likes Wham and Bananarama. Like he'll hit you with some Bangles, and then he'll mix in a little bit of country. But any of that Flock of Seagulls, dude. Oh yeah, he'll hit you with that. You know,
is Joe listening to the podcast? Like, we got to get him listening. Give him some tips.
And
yeah, he's listened to a few.
Last time we played golf, he played "Hero of the Day" live, which by Metallica. Jesus. That's not a good selection, but
yeah, that was the only. I think it was the only Metallica song he had on the playlist, and that was the one he went with.
But
Hero of the Day live.
We were on Frost Delay, and if you remember the last episode, we were talking about those dudes that still carry around the fucking giant brick wallet. While we're sitting on the patio, I look on the table. There's this wallet the size of, I don't know.
Was it a Costanza?
Dude, the size of a novel.
It was actually a full Costanza, and it even had like the wallet, when you open the wallet up, and then there was like a separate piece in there that was like a door that had like the cards and stuff in it. Mm-hmm. So Morrow's like, what the hell do you have in there? So he starts going through it, right? And I'm like, you can put those cards right on your phone, right? Like you just bring it up and you show them the card. No, he's going physical cards.
Yeah.
He's 10 years younger than I am. You'd think he'd embrace some technology, but no.
Guess not.
That thing was probably 3 inches thick. He had fucking library cards in there. I don't know what he's got. Old
condoms.
No, that was the funny thing. There was no condoms. There was
no condom ring.
There was a lot of receipts, and a lot of.
There was a sticky note in it.
Was there a sticky note? I didn't see the sticky note.
Yeah, there's a Post-it note.
Notepad and a pen. First.
That's what I said. So you got a 3-layer cake in there or what? Like, what the hell? He was like the old Captain Caveman. If anyone remembers Captain Caveman, when he used to just reach into his hair and just pull shit out all the time. I think that's what's in his wallet. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, he had everything in there. It was unbelievable. So we'll see if he actually listens to this episode, because we told him we were going to light him up for that. Thanks for remembering there, Morrow.
Yeah.
Wow. So what the hell are we doing here, boys? I don't even know what's going on here.
I was waiting for that. There always gets to a point when Gord goes, okay, so what are we doing here, boys? That's the ticket. So we're heading into summer, and what better way to get yourself into the summer mood than an album review from a SoCal legend, punk band, if you want to call it, maybe pop punk. Maybe we can kind of talk about that a little bit. But we're talking about the Offspring, their 10th studio album. It's called Let the Bad Times Roll. This is their first studio album since 2012, which was Days Go By. I don't know. I thought this was kind of a weird album. Like, we knew that the album was coming out, and then there's a song on there, the first song on side B that we'll get to. It's called Coming For You, or is it Coming After You? Coming After You, I think it's called.
Coming For You, you're right.
Was it Coming For You?
Yep.
Okay. But it was released in 2015, and I thought it was just like a single that they just released. So apparently they had a whole bunch of problems. I know, Gord, you've hired your own research team. I think you've got some notes and shit, some Offspring trivia. I don't know what it is, but
I wouldn't go as far to call it trivia.
All right.
Let's call it tidbits.
Tidbits. All right. So in any event, the album came out. It did include a single from fucking 6 years ago, and it's produced by Bob Rock, which is Morrow's favorite producer.
I don't mind Bob Rock.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's the album. It came out just about a week ago, I guess. Hey.
Yeah,
a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. So hey, before we get into it, let's remind the listeners they can email the show, picksandstickspodcast@gmail.com. You can also reach us through Instagram @picksandstickspodcast and on Twitter @picksandstickstoo. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
So, Offspring.
I was shocked, but I can't believe this band's been around 37 years.
I know.
It's a long time.
It's ridiculous. It's unreal.
Huh.
Yeah, the first album was 89.
Huh.
Like in their first 3, I would even say 4 albums are freaking awesome.
Yeah, like do
Yeah.
you remember the jukebox down at the Castle Pub?
Yeah.
Do you remember these guys were on it like every half hour. Like it was just a barrage of Offspring in the early mid 90s.
Oh, they were awesome. I caught them. Morrow and I caught them on the Ixnay on the Ombre tour. So that was July 97. So July 97, they played, of course, the Max Bell dog shit venue. Anybody want to hazard a guess who the opening act was?
Misfits.
Were they?
Oh God! Imagine if it was
Were they also from?
No, it wasn't
from SoCal.
Misfits.
I don't know where they're from, to be honest.
All right.
Was I there? I saw the Offspring, but I can't remember where, when, or with who.
Nobody
Who was
ever
it?
remembers. That's the funny thing about Offspring gigs.
It was great.
I've seen him twice and I don't remember.
Who was it?
It was the Doughboys.
The Doughboys?
I
The
remember them.
Doughboys. Remember the Doughboys?
Vaguely, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
Let's get
even
back to
remember
your-
them and I
Steven,
saw them.
A minute ago, you don't like Max Bell, huh?
I don't like Max Bell. I find the acoustics are brutal.
The
And I
parking
think-
getting out is atrocious, but I actually like the venue.
See, I find the sound is shitty, and I thought it was similar to, and I don't know, was this a venue you talked about, Cease, a couple episodes ago, where it was you can be in a weird pocket where
Dome.
it doesn't.
Dome
that's
is
at
the
the
worst.
Dome.
Worst.
Yeah, see, I found that to be
Max Bell
similar.
is kind
at
of
Max
mad
Bell.
too, though.
Yeah, I didn't.
Corral is always the best place, but rarely did I see a show there.
Yeah.
I saw Stone
Slayer.
Temple at the Corral about 6 years ago. It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
6 years ago.
7 years ago?
17.
Not long before he died, anyway. I like Max Bell, but I think it's based because I saw Pearl Jam, like Soundgarden. I always saw good bands there.
I thought the Pearl Jam gig there was good. I agree.
Yeah.
That might be the only one that I saw there that I enjoyed.
Okay. Well, anyway, how were the Doughboys?
Fuck, I don't
remember.
I don't even remember how the Offspring were.
That would have been a good tour to see them on, though. Like in their you could call it their prime or whatever. But
Yeah, no, it was
that was a big album.
Offspring was, and I listened to that Ixnay on the Ombre a lot. So it was.
Has anyone listened to any of their stuff from the 2000s?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good for you.
Conspiracy of
Not
One
until
was
now.
Conspiracy
Yeah,
of
me too.
One was an absolute staple with my wife and I. Conspiracy of One came out in 2000.
Yeah, sorry, I
coincidentally,
kind of lumped that one in.
yeah, that one came out. Well, that was the year we got married. So, but we listened to a shitload of that camping and stuff. We'll still listen to it if we're out on the deck. We'll still put that one on. Splinter, I didn't really listen to a whole lot. Rise and Fall, Raging Grace, I am not familiar with. Days Go By, I listened to a little bit. There's some good tracks on there. And quite frankly, this new album, Let the Bad Times Roll, reminds me a little bit of Days Go By because there's some, typical or standard kind of Offspring songs, like some good Offspring songs. And then there's a bunch of fillers. So I would say I'm guessing I've listened to more recent Offspring than the rest of you guys.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to hardly any until I was listening to this album, and I wanted to hear how their sound maybe evolved a bit to get here. So I listened to a little bit. Yeah, they're pretty consistent, right?
I find. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it.
I was going to say I find that their earlier albums were pretty solid. You can listen to them for the most part, front to back. Once they started getting into Americana and beyond that, there's something about this band. There, we talked about. I don't remember who it was. We said, they're kind of a singles type band, right? Where you can pick whatever the singles are that you like, and then there's a bunch of weird shit. Weezer's kind of like that for me. Weezer's got some really tremendous stuff, and then they got some weird stuff. Queens of the Stone Age, I think, was actually the band we were talking about at the time. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of
Well, the songs,
man.
first four albums are awesome all the way through. And then Americana, and Conspiracy When you start getting those cheesy Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Original Prankster, and those are the songs they would release.
Original Prankster.
I didn't even try those albums because I'm like, I'm not listening. They've gone to shit. But the last couple of weeks listening to them, there's great songs on every album. I'm catching up now, listening to stuff between those radio release songs.
Yeah, nice. I agree. They do
it for me.
Well, all their stuff is polished now, which to me is almost. Punk rock shouldn't be polished. It should be raw, and it should be.
But this is pop punk, right? Remember we got that email a while ago from Tim, and he was like, "When are you guys going to do some punk rock?" And we made the joke about, Good Charlotte and Fall Out Boy and shit like that. Offspring, earlier stuff, Ignition and Smash was different. It's still, I wouldn't call it's not Sex Pistols or anything like that, but they're pop punk.
It was pretty raw and edgy though, and then it became more just suited to play on the radio. Is that
California though? Is that is that just California punk? Blink 182, Goldfinger, and I like those bands, and I like their vibe. And sort of, sometimes they'll have like the surf kind of influence to it and that, but it's not, it's not Rancid, and not that Rancid's hardcore punk, but you know what I mean? Like there's just different styles of punk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost don't want to call them punk, to be honest. Like they're more
of a rock band.
They're kind of commercial rock.
Yeah. I think a lot of those SoCal bands kind of have that same thing. They're very kind of accessible. They're not like the punk rock that we grew up with, like when we were really young, or some bands were shocking and their sound was like really raw. All these bands seem to be able to play a little bit better, and they wrote catchier stuff, which I think lends itself to the radio.
I think they're punk. They're just they're consistent with a lot of, I think, the punk around that same time, like Pennywise and
sure.
The early 80s punk, they're a little more raunchy and raw and nasty, like Circle Jerks, Black Flag, stuff like that. Yeah. I think they're just a different style. Like that 90s is kind of all polished more so like that, Even Rancid's a little more polished than some of the older stuff. Like
they're old. Yeah, you're right. Their first album, I think it was self-titled, and then Let's Go, I think, was after that, was a little bit. And then they got really Clash-like, right? Like Out Come the Wolves is very Clashy. Just different influence. I mean, hey, I don't know. As a band, you want to grow, you want to do different things. It just depends on, do you go, Foo Fighters, where, Gord is a Foo Fighters fan, and then he's like, this new album is dog shit. There's that, right? Like, I wouldn't say that there is a difference clearly between, Smash and pretty much anything after most of that stuff. Even Ixnay is more commercial, if you want to call it that. Lots of really good melodies, lots of hooks. Like, I don't know. I still like. It was
after the big record deal. You signed the big record deal, and then they kind of just went.
Oh yeah, they went to Columbia.
And the other thing, though, the other thing I noticed is you're right. Like a lot of the stuff they released that you would hear on the radio was not like, there's heavier stuff on the albums, like way heavier. So I don't know.
I'd still like to know where, we're getting off topic a little bit, but Cecil brought it up, like Pretty Fly for a White Guy. When you're releasing singles, and I would suggest there's better songs, although I guess it was a huge hit, so maybe we're the idiots that we just don't like it. But that's
we're purists, Huffman.
We're purists, yeah.
We have very high standards.
That's not a very good song.
No, it's a terrible song. I was outraged it was on the radio as much as it was. It wasn't their best.
Yeah, I know. It's really bad.
Total outrage.
Right. And again, like they've got some other, it's going to be interesting, like with this album, and maybe, I don't know, unless there's anything else that you guys want to talk about in general with the band, but maybe it'll be interesting to see what they release as singles from this album, knowing that, and I'm very confused with the way this is all working because, like I said, they've already got one hit, but it's 6 years old.
Right?
So I guess Let the Bad Times Roll. Would that be the current single, I guess? So that would be the second release.
Again, coming out
album?
with the worst song on the album first. Why?
Yeah. This is not...
I wasn't even giving him a chance. I was so annoyed by that song.
Speaking of Foo Fighters, there's a part of that song that I thought I was listening to the Foo Fighters.
For Let the Bad Times Roll?
Yeah. It's like the pre-chorus. It sounds hilarious. Like Foo Fighters. And then they give there's like an sort of harmonizing octave guitar part, which sounds so like the Foo Fighters.
One of my notes says, this reminds me of Foo in a good way.
Oh, in a good way. I thought this was going to go sideways. Okay. I don't remember the...
I literally wrote that down, so I cut that too, Morrow. That was, I think, Behind Your Walls.
Reminds you of Foo, but not the new Foo.
But not the bad Foo.
Well, how do you want to tackle this? How should we just start rattling off?
Yeah, and in the new Picks and Sticks fashion, we're big on the side A, side B. So, for everybody following at home, grab your vinyl, grab your cassette. If you bought this, I'd love to be able to get my hands on a cassette maybe. But anyway, side A, there's 12 songs on the album. And the split is actually 5 songs on side A and 7 songs on side B. So we'll talk side A. Side A starts with "This Is Not Utopia," then "Let the Bad Times Roll," "Behind Your Walls," "Army of One," and then the 5th song is "Breaking These Bones." So why don't we say, so out of those 5, if you had to pick a favorite of the 5, does anyone say, hey, this is the best song on side A?
Sure.
Yeah, Gordo?
I thought it was a good intro. This Is Not Utopia was a solid opener. I really liked Breaking These Bones. I'm surprised this isn't the first single, actually, or maybe it will be the next one. But I thought this one's great for radio. It's Offspring through and through, and it's got a great hook. Really like that one.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I like the Army
as much as it
first, and then Breaking Those Bones, but then Behind Your Walls caught up with me later. That's their most emotional song, I think.
Yeah, it's got that solid kind of Offspring chorus, right?
That's the Foo song.
That's the Foo song. Okay, so maybe that's it. Morrow, you were going to say something.
No, well, Behind Your Walls ended up being my favorite of all of them. Any song on the whole album, actually.
Yeah, it's tied for me.
It's not really a punk rock song at all. And,
no.
And the lyrics are super dark.
Are they?
Yep.
Do tell.
It's just about, it's all serious, man. It's about seeing someone in pain, but not knowing how trying to figure out how they're feeling. And it's kind of, I listened to the song, I'm like, this is a great rock tune. And then I listen to the lyrics and I'm like, oh. And it's kind of, it kind of reminded me of, it's appropriate for these times, right? Pandemic times and that, because it's like you're watching people are in pain and you can't figure out what people are thinking. And so the song, even though it's very simple, straightforward, kind of happy melodies and shit, it's actually a pretty deep song. And it's not a punk rock song, so I don't even know how it fits in here. When I hear The Offspring, that's not the type of music I think of. But if there was a song on the album that'll be on any playlist that I have, that will be it for sure.
Yeah, make mine too. One song I found that was a little odd, and I think this is what led me to think, well, when did they record this, was the title track, Let the Bad Times Roll. There's a part in the song where he's saying "Lock Her Up," which I'm sure is a Hillary reference. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a little dated, right?
It is dated. I'm like, all right, let's get past that. Like, when did you write this? And I must have been one that they wrote 4 or 5 years ago, because it seemed out of place.
Yeah, obviously I touched on it. We're not going to get too far into it, but this album was plagued with delays and issues and that for a number of different reasons we don't need to get into. But yeah, I kind of caught that too, that it's, let the bad times roll. It's still relevant today in some places in the world, that you're still in lockdowns and all that other bullshit. But there were lyrically, there were a couple of references that seemed like it was written a number of years ago. So that was probably it. I'm going off, I guess, or away from the consensus here. My side A pick is Army of One. And I think that, Behind Your Walls, actually, I thought side A was awesome. I really enjoyed side A.
Solid. I like an Army on One where the verses just have a single note string picking. They're not playing power chords throughout the verses, so it's just that stood out for me on that one.
It's a song that reminded me. It reminded me of something that's on the album Conspiracy of One, which obviously I hold dear to my heart. It means that album has seen some good times with my wife and I. So
when I saw that song title, it reminded me of Army of Me, which is a Bjork song, that little crazy little Icelandic chick. And as much it was a good song. Helmet does a cover of that song, which is fantastic. So I ended up just listening to Helmet for like an hour after listening to this album.
What album is, not to get off track, but what album is that cover on? Is that old school?
Yes, it's old.
Is that like off of Betty or something?
I think it's off a movie soundtrack or something. It's not off one of their albums, but you just search Army of Me Helmet, and it's outstanding. So thank you for that. There, Offspring.
I'm not up on my Bjork discography.
Dude, how do you
you're not listening to Bjork?
No.
It's probably her biggest. It's a really good song, actually. I mean, yeah.
I'm
derailing you.
Did you listen to a lot of Bjork? How do you even say it? Bjork?
It's Bjork, man.
Bjork?
Yeah, she's like crazy. She's like 4 foot tall. Like she's like a dwarf. She's like
I know who she is.
Crazy little dwarf that does weird things.
Yeah, her big song was "Big Time Sensuality." I remember that one.
Yeah, that one and "Army of Me" were her two big ones.
I don't know anything about that artist.
Well, check it out. It's a good song.
All right.
Did you not?
If we had a deep cuts portion of today's program, we could add that in.
That Helmet.
Yeah.
The song "This Is Not a Utopia," I thought was a Bad Religion song.
Yes, I wrote that down too. I said it sounds a bit like a newer Bad Religion tune.
That's a good call, boys. That's exactly what it is.
So if you're into new Bad Religion or newer Bad Religion,
I am.
You got to listen to Offspring.
Yeah, there was some influence there for sure.
Well, so side A was good.
Side A was solid. So now we're going to flip it over, and it starts with I'll read through the song. So song number 6 of the album, song 1 on side B, Coming for You, and then We Never Have Sex Anymore. Then it's In the Hall of the Mountain King, and then the Opioid Diaries, and then Hassan Chop, and then Gone Away, and then Lullaby. Side B was what I would call kind of that Offspring that I was sort of expecting. Like side A, I could listen to any of those 5 songs. I enjoyed them. Some were better than others, but again, fairly standard. I thought, gee, this is weird. There's nothing strange in here. There's no filler. And then side B comes, and it's just an absolute dumpster fire. I did not enjoy side B with the exception of the Opioid Diaries and Hassan Chop.
See, I like side B a lot, but it is a mixed bag. Like
it really is.
Like when I saw this, so I looked at the titles and I saw "We Never Have Sex Anymore." And I thought it was going to be like a funny song. But you listen to it, it's not. It's kind of funny and kind of
heartbreaking.
Did anyone else find it really awkward? Like it's an awkward song to listen to.
Yeah,
I looked at the lyrics are awkward.
That's a better song than I thought, though. I hate the title and the chorus.
Musically, it's not bad,
but actually, it kind of grew on me.
The whole album's dark. The whole album lyrically is super dark, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good lyricist. I really like a lot of their lyrics in all their albums.
But you guys should know about the title. This.
Well, yeah.
We never have sex anymore.
Yeah,
We could be sponsored by
absolutely.
them.
But I don't
Yeah,
want
what
to
do you-
sing about it.
It's true.
You should sing about it.
I'm trying to forget.
You should get your feelings out. You can't bottle them up.
In the Hall, the Mountain King seems just utterly pointless to me. I don't know what that's there. Same with the last song, Lullaby. Like, why are we doing a slow version? Just whack that.
Mountain King, my only note there was not sure why it's on the album.
Yeah. And Lullaby, the last one. What, did we
Lullaby's-
got to redo that? That's
Their
it.
albums are all riddled with 1 minute little interludes like that. Just doing
Oh,
it.
that's true. That's true. They're one
On,
song I really like.
Smash, on Smash, they have one, but it's about 9 minutes after the last song. Like,
they do that.
If you remember, your song would never end. Just on the disc, your Discman, just
Yeah.
your CD player in your car.
Oh,
It would
another
just keep
stupid
going
invention.
up and up and up and up and up, and then it would have that do that kind of.
I forgot
sultry
about
tune.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
you're right.
okay.
And that would fuck up the shuffle too.
The
Yeah.
hidden
Song
song.
would play.
The hidden
You got-
song.
Right? You got your 5-disc changer going. The song
Yeah.
ends and then nothing happens.
That's
20
it.
minutes of silence.
Yeah.
Fuck up your shuffle.
They do that on purpose, don't they?
I'm with you, Huffman. The Opioid Diaries and Hassan Chop, I think, are two really good songs. In fact, I put Opioid Diaries right there with the best song, with Behind Your Walls. But
It's a great Offspring song. Absolutely.
like it's
Yeah.
and Hassan Chop is just it's old school Offspring to me, right? Like it's an old school straight up punk dude.
That's what, oh my God. I can't, this is probably the most on the same page I think we've ever been.
It's
my
awkward.
line, right? It says, this is the most old school sounding song on the album.
Huh.
And then I said,
Hassan
I
Chop?
said, there's a riff that sounds a little bit like a sped up version of the Come Out and Play riff. If you listen
There
to
you
it in
go.
the back,
Well,
it's similar, a little bit quicker.
Interestingly
but-
enough, my note for that song could be on an old album.
There you go.
There you go. It's like
Great-
we're reading
great
each
minds,
other's
boys.
mail.
There's quite a few songs on the second side. I think 3 I said that could actually be old Offspring.
Yeah. What was everyone's feelings on Gone Away? This is the one I'm really interested in.
I hated it. Hated
So
it.
Didn't hook
you just
me in.
absolutely hate it. Okay.
Well,
Carlin, you didn't like it either.
No,
It's not even, it's like, if it was acoustic,
don't hate it though. I just didn't. Yeah, meh.
if it was acoustic, maybe it would be okay.
again,
It's
again,
piano,
the lyrics are super deep. Again,
but it's a
And-
remake of a song we've heard 100,000 times.
I get it, but I don't know. I have no idea what motivated them to do that. I can't
don't know.
figure it out. Other
See-
than maybe the fact that the way the lyrics are written, that song suits that type of doing it that way. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but I get it.
It's a very dangerous thing to do, I thought, or brave, when you take one of your biggest hits and you slow it down like that. Now, I'll be the outlier then. I was expecting, if someone explained, they took Gone Away and they slowed it down and made it like, I mean, that sounds terrible. I actually really think they did a great job on that song. I thought it turned out really good, and that song works so well as a ballad. I didn't find it cheesy. Normally, I'd find something like that cheesy. I thought it was great.
If that was the first time you'd ever heard that song, I would probably agree with you.
And if it
But-
wasn't the Offspring,
Well, even still, I think if they did that, they do a piano number, and with that song and you've never heard any other version of it before, I think it would probably work. But because it's one of my favorite Offspring songs, and it's from Ixnay, which is one of their really awesome albums, and then however many years later they hit it with the piano. I don't know.
His voice has changed a lot, hasn't it?
okay.
Yeah,
so
it
they
has.
can't do unplugged for any of the songs, really.
I don't know.
Why not?
Why not do piano?
Why couldn't they?
Yeah, why not?
Are you gonna sit down and thrash out power chords on your acoustic?
Oh, they'd be great.
Face to Face did it. The face to face acoustic stuff's actually quite good.
I think it'd be good. Actually,
Face
I'd like
to
to hear
Face,
it.
different band, but I don't know.
Yeah,
right. So I'm the only one that likes that. Okay, well that's kind of what I assumed.
I never said I didn't like it. It just doesn't make any sense to me that what they did.
Yeah,
but the song actually sounds pretty good.
Okay,
it doesn't belong on an Offspring album, and I think it was for some reason. I'd like to know what the motivation was, because again, the lyrics are well written, and maybe he felt like how he wrote the lyrics didn't suit the way the song was played originally, or maybe he thought it just suited a different way. I don't know.
Or he felt the lyrics or the song applied today, which I mean a lot of songs do. But
absolutely,
my biggest wish, I think, was musically, "We Never Have Sex Anymore" is awesome. I think like it's a really cool tune. If the lyrics were different and as Cecil said, the song title was different, I think it would be a really, really good song. But I don't want to hear about, what was it, something about we don't roll around on the floor anymore. Yeah. We don't fucking do it doggy anymore. I don't know, whatever the hell the lyric is, but it's just like, no,
I never heard that.
That's not the lyric.
It's less about that. It's less about that than him wanting like any reaction. Better get angry than nothing, Just that
indifference is the worst thing in a relationship.
There you go, yeah.
So there you go.
Again, there you go. Take it from Dr.
Profound.
Yeah.
Profound lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that one so awkward still.
Yeah, I did. I did too. When you read online,
it's not a tune you want to drive with the windows open. Bopping your head, singing in the summer.
Yeah, singing with the kids.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, I guess I don't know. Are there any sort of closing thoughts before we go around the horn?
Well, I got to read you this. I got the lyrics. I got to read you the one line.
Yeah, give it to me.
If you won't violate me, well, will you just at least aggravate me? That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I feel like you just did both.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. It wasn't my favorite. I didn't like the music as much as you guys seem to as well. So that's all
on
right.
That one. Are we talking about the one track?
Yeah, just the one track, the Sex Anymore.
All right,
that's okay.
I thought the song musically was actually pretty cool, but
cool.
In any way,
how do you think the album stands up in terms of where does it rate in the overall for 10 albums that they've done?
Well, actually, I'll let someone else go. I feel I've been talking.
I was never a big Offspring fan back in the day because they were always on everywhere I went. So I kind of got sick of them. And I can't comment on their albums after their first 4 because I didn't hear anything other than the hits. So it seems like it would be well representative, but probably not one of their best. But I'll let you guys figure that out.
I'm really happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it
nice.
a lot. It's I think it sounds a little closer to some of their older stuff. And it got me listening now on a full bender. Listen to all the albums and listen to the back half of their discography, getting to enjoy some of those songs that I'd never heard before. But this one's good. I give it.
That's awesome when you discover like you're a band that you like, and you discover like all these songs you never really listened to before, and then you find out they're good. I love that.
Totally.
You gave it a what?
I don't think
we didn't give it anything.
I give it an A sharp. An A flat.
An A flat.
An A flat.
A flat.
Hey, I like that rating system.
Yeah. That is. We should use it.
If side B matched side A, I would say that it is, not as good as their first 4, but it is right up there. It would be almost as good as Conspiracy of One.
Wow.
Or at least would be in that realm for me, just again, because I enjoy that album. It's obviously not quite there. It dips a lot on side B. So I would say it's a good record. It's not one that I'm going to own on vinyl because I can't skip. At least the Mountain King song is quick.
Yeah.
And then I guess you could, I would just pull the chute after Hassan Chop. I don't think is it possible to say the name of the song without saying it like that?
Don't think it is.
I don't think it is. But that's, it's better than Splinter. It's better than Days Gone By. So it's out of the 10 albums, it's probably, I would put it maybe 6th or 7th. Somewhere in there.
Not bad.
Yeah, I was going to put it about in the middle.
Yeah.
I hope we hear more bands like this coming out with stuff.
Yeah.
Another little punk revolution or something. Even if it's pop punk. Cool.
Yeah. I like pop punk. I don't mind it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like my Green Day.
I do too. Yeah.
Same.
Blink. I like Blink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of shit out there. I mean, I like lots of different shit like that. It would be great to see some of that stuff. So from a ratings perspective, if we're going out, if we go out of 10, until we rejig the rating system, let's keep it to a number out of 10.
All right.
I am going to give this a 6.5.
Respectable. Laurel?
Man, I gotta give it a 7.
7. Okay. I'll give it
7.5 here.
Yeah, I was going to say 7.5 for me. I thought it was really good. Not their best, but it's, you always get worried when these guys that have had such success a long time ago haven't done an album for a while.
They said they hadn't had it.
That's right.
Success?
Maybe that's what the song should have been.
Anymore.
We never have success anymore. Maybe that's what
it's about.
If they rewrote that song and called it "We Never Have Success Anymore," then maybe they would actually get some.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
I was just going to say, you get worried about when you hear about bands that you liked that had good albums back in the day, and you just don't want them to embarrass themselves. And I certainly think we can say that they didn't do that on this album. So
not at all. Yeah,
it was great. There'll be a few songs on this I'll put in the rotation for sure.
Same. Yep.
You'll get an argument from diehard punk fans, or I'll even call them snobby punk fans. But
really,
you have to. This is one of the top selling punk bands ever of all time. It's got to be, I believe, in the top 5 ever in history.
Really?
Guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
And they don't like it. That's I purposely didn't read any like comments or reviews or anything.
No, I don't know, but over the years, I've noticed the Offspring get a little bit of,
sellout flack, and you'll get that with Green Day as well. And there's probably a list of 20 other bands that do the same. But I say stop being a snob and fuck off.
Yeah, don't be too
if it's good, it's good.
Songs are songs.
Dicks.
Yeah, well, it's like anything, right?
Songs
and we all have
songs.
Those bands.
Word of wisdom.
Yeah, we all have those bands that we liked from, called day one, from the first time you heard them, and you love their earlier stuff, and they get older and you get older, and you'll always, and we do this a lot, talk about, their earlier stuff, their newer stuff isn't as good. I would obviously suggest that this album is not as good as, Smash or Ignition or anything like that. I don't think anyone would try to make that argument, but at the same time, they're a lot older. Their views are a little bit different, but musically, even though they've changed, I would, as Morrow said, or maybe it was Gord, they certainly didn't embarrass themselves. And I think it's a solid record.
Nice.
Yeah.
Indeed.
That's Let the Bad Times Roll. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please tell your friends, your family, neighbors, and coworkers about it. Please also hook us up with a review and a rating on either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. We definitely appreciate your support. And speaking of podcast apps, make sure you don't miss any new episodes by subscribing to Picks and Sticks. You can find us everywhere that you get your podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Amazon, Pandora, and many others. And a final shout out to Michael O'Coin. We forgot to talk about that. He emailed the show again. He's still doing some great work for us. We'll give him this episode off because obviously there is no There is no playlist, but check out Deezer and all the good work that Mr. O'Coin is doing for us. And that'll do it. Thanks for listening. And until next time, see ya!